These are the lesbian romance movies on Netflix that deserve the hype in 2026. Even years later, these films still hit differently because they show queer love in all its forms, quiet, messy, bold, and sometimes chaotic. Maybe it's hidden romances, teen crushes, action-packed thrills, or stories about challenging society for love. These movies capture emotions that stay with you long after the credits roll. They're the kind of films that prove great queer stories never go out of style. And even in 2026, they still deserve the attention and praise they get. Number 10 on my list is The Half of It. You know Ellie Chu, the quiet, introverted high schooler? She agrees to help Paul by writing a love letter to Aster Flores, thinking it's just a favor. But as she spends more time with both of them, things get complicated. She starts to fall for Aster herself, while also forming a genuinely close friendship with Paul. What I love is how subtle and real it all feels. No over-the-top drama, just honest feelings and awkward, sweet moments. Even years later, it still hits differently. It's one of those quiet love stories that sticks with you long after you finish watching. Number 9 on my list is A Secret Love. Even though many of us have watched it, I still think it totally deserves the hype, even in 2026. I mean, Terry and Pat hiding their love for almost 70 years. It's wild. But the way the film shows them finally living openly in their 80s is just so heartwarming. Their little retirement home wedding, the family moments, just everything feels real and tender. It's not flashy, but that's what makes it stick with you. Honestly, it's the kind of love story that stays with you long after the credits. Then there's Bottoms, which is just wild in the best way. It follows PJ and Josie, two unpopular queer best friends who start a self-defense club at their high school, not really to learn karate, but as a way to meet and hook up with girls. Of course, things quickly spiral into chaotic, over-the-top antics, with fights, schemes, and unexpected romance popping up along the way. By the end, their club actually ends up saving the popular girls from their jock boyfriends during this big, ridiculous game. It's loud, messy, hilarious, and kind of heartwarming all at once. Even now, it's still a crazy, fun story worth watching. And then there's this cozy one set on Christmas Eve called Let It Snow. A snowstorm hits a small Midwestern town, and suddenly, a bunch of high school students are all stuck together. It's the kind of setup where friendships, crushes, and awkward feelings collide in the sweetest, sometimes messy way. You watch all these little moments unfold, confessions, teasing, and unexpected connections, while the snow keeps piling up outside. By the time Christmas morning comes around, nothing feels quite the same, and you can't help but smile at how tender and real it all is. Even years later, it's one of those gentle, heartwarming stories that still hits. Then there's And Plus, the film. You know Anne, the 20-something lesbian in Amsterdam? She's juggling a lot, trying to finish her novel while figuring out her relationship, and the big move to Montreal. The movie really captures that mix of excitement and pressure that comes with figuring out what you actually want in life. It's relatable, funny at times, and also quietly emotional, especially when she questions her choices and what love means for her. Even though it's about someone in her 20s, the story feels timeless, honest, heartfelt, and something that sticks with you long after watching. It still deserves the hype in 2026. Also, we've got Ride or Die, which is intense but really gripping. Ray helps the woman she loves escape from her abusive husband, and suddenly they're on the run together. What's interesting is how their relationship develops under all that pressure, the danger, the fear, the uncertainty. It brings them closer in ways you wouldn't expect. The movie balances these high-stakes moments with quiet, emotional beats that make you really care about both of them. It's not your typical romance, but that's what makes it stick. Even now, it still feels fresh and powerful, showing how love can grow in the most unexpected circumstances. Then there's Duck Butter, which is such a strange but fascinating watch. It follows two women, both kind of jaded from messy and dishonest relationships, who decide to make this bold pact. Spend 24 uninterrupted hours together, having sex on the hour. The idea is to create a totally new kind of intimacy. But of course, things don't go exactly as planned. What's really interesting is how the experiment exposes their vulnerabilities, insecurities, and fears about love. It's messy, raw, and sometimes uncomfortable, but that's exactly what makes it deserve the hype. Even years later, it's still a movie that makes you think about connection in a different way. Then there's Elisa and Marcella, which is really haunting but beautiful. It's set back in 1885, where Elisa and Marcella meet and start as friends, but their bond slowly grows into a forbidden love they have to hide from everyone. The story gets even more intense in 1901, when Elisa takes on a male identity just so she can marry Marcella. It's bold, heartbreaking, and also inspiring, showing how far people have gone for love in times when it wasn't accepted. Even now, it's a story that feels timeless, and watching it still hits hard, definitely a film that deserves recognition in 2026. And then there's Heartshot, a short film about Nikki and Sam, two teenage lovers enjoying what should be a perfect weekend together. But things take a dark turn when Nikki's violent past as a young assassin catches up to her. Suddenly, their quiet romance turns into a high-stakes, action-packed fight for survival. What's cool is how the film balances all the thrills with the tenderness between them. The love and care they share make the danger hit even harder. Even though it's short, it's intense, smart, and still worth watching in 2026 for anyone who loves romance with a twist. Many of you guys might not really like this movie, but Ek Ladki ko Dekha to Aisa Laga still deserves some love. Sweeta has this big secret about who she really loves, but to please her father, Balbir Chaudhary, she decides to marry a writer instead. Chaos quickly unfolds as she starts challenging her family and society to fight for the love she truly wants. What I love is how the film balances cultural pressures with Sweeta's courage. It's funny, touching, and inspiring all at once. Even now, it still hits emotionally and feels like a story worth watching in 2026. So yeah, that's my pick for the top 10 lesbian romance movies on Netflix that still deserve the hype in 2026. From quiet, heartfelt stories like A Secret Love to wild, chaotic fun like Bottoms, there's honestly something for every mood. What's great is how each of these films explores love in its own way, whether it's tender, messy, thrilling, or inspiring. Even if some of them aren't super popular, they all leave an impression that sticks with you. Honestly, these movies prove that great queer stories never go out of style, and they're totally worth a watch, no matter the year.